Hello, everyone. So last summer, you may remember me making a little video about how Adam Carolla said women weren't funny. It turns out that he was actually misquoted. I had misquoted him, and I'm sorry. But I wanted to make a follow-up on the Adam Carolla video anyways because ever since making that video, I've actually done some research on females and being funny and female comedians. And I have a few thoughts that I would like to share. While researching the subject of women apparently not being funny, I ran across an article on AskMen.com. The Ask Men article suggested a few potential reasons on why females are not as funny as males, or in the subject of stand up comedy, why females would not be as funny as male comedians. One reason was because women are not conditioned to be funny, especially when it comes to finding a mate. Being funny is seen as sort of a masculine quality, which attracts women. Whereas it's not as important for women to be funny to attract a male. However, in another article that I was reading while researching this topic, I came across an article that surveyed men and asked them if it was a turn on or turn off if a woman was funny. 9 out of the 10 men said that it was a turn on. So yay for all my funny ladies! Be aware though that there are different types of comedy out there. There's stand-up comedy, there's sketch comedy, there's slapstick comedy, there's physical comedy. I really have no desire to do stand-up comedy, mainly because I don't think I'd be good at it. Mainly because I love becoming different characters and, taking on their mannerisms and all that. To me, that's really fun. And in stand-up comedy, you can't really do that. When you compare sketch comedy and stand-up comedy together, you are definitely going to see a lot more females in sketch comedy. I'm a huge fan of Mad TV, and I actually used to want to be on the show Mad TV so bad. But then Mad TV got canceled. Tear. Whenever I watched the show, the female cast members were absolutely freaking hilarious. In fact, some of the best performances on Mad TV were actually by women. One of my personal favorite characters is Bonifa Latifa Harifa Sharifa Jackson, played by Deborah Wilson. I want to meet her one day. I think she is awesome. And the other characters that she played too, she is just so funny. Her timing is great, and I just love her. Point being is that in this case, and say women comedians are not funny, I started thinking that maybe it's because men and women find different things funny. I've always really considered myself to have more of a men's sense of humor rather than a female feminine sense of humor. In other words, what men find really funny, I usually find funny as well. One woman named Kyria Abrahams, I think I said that name right. Let's hope so. Kyria Abrahams compared men and women comedians together. She was found what was being done in their stand-up comedy routines differently, and what they said and what they didn't say, what was being done differently in their stand-up jokes. She found that most female stand-up comics would usually talk about themselves in their stand-up comedy routines, such as their hair, their roommates, their vagina. The comedy was all turned inwards to themselves. On the other hand, male comedians would usually not talk about themselves. The focus was not on them within their jokes. They talked about all different kinds of subjects, such as history, religion, politics, and many observations about life. What is the meaning of life? I have a few theories on why this happens. I have always wondered if female comedians are afraid to go into dangerous territory. They don't want to pass a certain boundary in their comedy. They want to be ladylike. With comedy, you really have to think outside the box, which is what I try and do with my sketch comedy. I always go there with my jokes, and I am not afraid to shock people, and I've never been afraid to shock people. I love shocking people. But this is not a very feminine trait to have. As females, like I said earlier, we are not really encouraged from early age to be funny like males are. But it is not discouraged either. I have always found that I absolutely love making people laugh. I am always dubbed the goofy one or the class clown within my groups of friends. Comedy doesn't have limits. So if you are a budding comedian, don't be afraid to say something that's on your mind. Be honest and say it. Honesty is sometimes the best humor. There are lots of great female comedians out there who are not afraid to think outside the box and cross those boundaries, such as Lisa Lampanelli and Sarah Silverman. I think that is why they are so successful. So, to all my sisters out there in comedy, you keep making people laugh and you show the world that females can be funny too. We are a sisterhood and we can prevail.